And we are live. Welcome back to Aussie's taking over the NBA. It's Wednesday night. NBA still pumping along.
Still pumping along. Some interesting developments in the league. The Lakers look pretty much untouchable at this stage for the foreseeable future until someone gets injured.
The Lakers, we'll start. Where do you want to start tonight?
Just a general chit chat of what's going on.
Yeah, the wider league in general.
The wider league, obviously, Luka Doncic absolutely just killing it and scoring ridiculous triple doubles. Youngest player to score consecutive 25-point triple doubles.
Yeah. Keep going. Sorry, I'm just laughing. You're like miles off the screen, like heads down in the corner of the screen.
There we are.
Yeah,
Is that better?
Yeah, it's a little bit better. Now you're like way over the top of the screen, but yeah, all professional here.
Yeah, mate.
On Aussies taking over the NBA. As always, you can like which way we're going. We're going this way. Like, share, subscribe, all the way up the side. Yeah, it's been like it was a decent start from the Aussies. What do you reckon? Like for a good first kind of pipe opener for the Aussies, and then this last little stretch we've had a few wins, few losses.
Yeah, it's the battle of the big balls, Baynes.
He's
absolutely carving it up in Phoenix. Absolutely carving. Just shooting 8 threes a night, which is absurd for someone who's just never shot threes before in the NBA and decided now he's just going to be Steph Curry.
Yeah, well, it's strategic too. Like, I mean, at the start of the season, we said that Phoenix weren't going to be that good, and I don't know if
I don't know if
I'm
it's a long
not
season.
completely on the train yet, and probably part of that is still just holding on to my like, no, they can't be good. I want my pick to not go bad. But we did say that Bainesy is going to fit this type of team where it's just like, what, a bunch of dudes running around and all I need to do is just hustle the entire time and I'm going to play 25 minutes a game and I don't have to fit into a system and do, a lot of kind of, he was like the brick wall of the East, really.
Yeah.
In that Celtics team, he just had to do a lot of the face-up sort of just meat grinding, take a lot of the meat grinder work in that team. Whereas this Phoenix team, he can just do everything. And they've got a faster team, so he can camp at the three-point... Oh, he doesn't have to camp at the three-point line, rather. Can run this offense where guys are just moving around a lot, passing the ball around inside, outside, and then pick and pop off a screen because nobody's really... 10 seconds to go on the shot clock, you're not sitting there going, somebody get on Baynes. He can just run this cute little pick and pop with Devin Booker, and Booker's like, sweet, shoot a three ball. Thanks, mate. Nice.
He's shooting something like 47% from the three-point clip this year, which is ridiculous.
Phenomenal.
7 games in. Mind you, we saw this in the Boomers World Cup tournament where he absolutely carved it up night in, night out. Now with a bit of rest in between and, DeAndre Ayton, when he eventually comes back from his drug use.
His drug use. It technically wasn't really drug use, though, wasn't it? He was using a banned substance, a diuretic.
He was using a diuretic, which is usually used to mask other substance, i.e. performance enhancing and sometimes marijuana.
But not necessarily drug use.
No, not necessarily technically, but you're going to get caught. It's so stupid. Actually, there was someone else that was recently banned for 25 games for drug use as well.
That's right on the top of my head. I can't remember who it was too. That was just straight up like, smoking a joint somewhere and got banned. I can't think of who it is, man. I'm gonna have to Google that. Drugs ban. John Collins, forward.
Yeah, that's it.
25
power forward, Atlanta.
I swear there was someone who was just like pulling cool reef and then just got banned.
Tyreek Evans got banned.
Yeah, Tyreek Evans. That's who it was. So I knew it was on the top of my tongue because there was NBL talk that he was coming down to the NBL. That's how I knew about that.
He got banned for 2 years though. I mean, these guys, 25 games. I don't know, man. If you're smoking a reefer, it should be that. It's not really performance enhancing. Kind of stupid.
Well, it can aid recovery and do other stuff. Let's get a little Joe Rogan up in here. It's pretty good for you, man, and it's not banned.
Do you want to know about marijuana? Yeah. Do you want to know about marijuana? It's great, man. You got to take it.
I couldn't imagine playing like that, though, eh? Like, I could not imagine that at all.
Didn't Jordan just used to go and gamble and drink all night and play the next day?
Yeah, but he was a maniac, man. That dude was an absolute maniac. Some of the stories from all those old guys, man, like Charles Barkley and stuff like that, like just like living their lives like it was just a life. Like now it's all about recovery. Like you have to like don't do anything stupid, recover, like drink all your protein shakes, do all your warm downs. Like back then it was just like we just live, play hoops, live. That's what happens.
Yeah,
It's
just party,
crazy now.
drink, smoke cigars, play
Do you
hoops.
reckon it kind of goes with the money though and the brands of these players?
I don't. It kind of goes with the organizational efforts of these players and how much they're worth to the organization in dollars. Like back then, it was probably not as big as lucrative for the owners of the privatized league. Now, if a superstar gets injured because he's been out in the Terps the night before, it's kind of like that's a direct value devaluation of that owner's team, and so it's kind of that professional sport level where they just can't do this stuff anymore. I think there was rumors last year when Ben Simmons got on the Terps one night and then got kicked out of a game against Orlando, coming down with a upset stomach. But apparently, he was out on the piss the night before. The only
Upset
game he
stomach
missed
because
last
he
year.
had to
Yeah,
get it pumped.
that's it. But yeah, big bad Baynes. He's just absolute monster. We'll get to that game later where they beat Philly with no Embiid, but
Are
it
we?
was
It's a little bit too early, I think, to start doing overreactions. I think it's just a little bit
yeah.
too early. Like, have we got any? Can we like just one or two? Can we overreact to overreacting yet? Phillies 5-1. Could we overreact to that?
No, I think that that'll evolve. I think Ben Simmons' game hasn't evolved at all and is somewhat of a worry in this team that's very paint dominating as well. Big guys wanting to play in the paint, and then just Ben Simmons doing nothing for the fourth quarter of that game. And it was a terrible game in Houston. They just sat back and allowed two guys to just crowd Horford, and they lost basically because Simmons was pretty much unplayable for the last 5 minutes. Offensively, defensively, still very good. They got 7 steals that game.
Yeah, it's crazy. His defense has gone up a level,
It
but
has, but
it's his bad games are going to stand out though because the longer he goes without shooting, the more people are just going to go, "Why aren't you scoring, man? Why aren't you scoring?" You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, it's always going to be a chip on his shoulder until he just starts taking those shots. Like, I'm still half and half in a sense that why would you take shots away from these other guys? And at the same time, I'm just like, just take some shots, man. Like, it'll
yeah,
take the
but
pressure off those guys.
he's left so far open that the defenders are sagging off him to the key.
It's makes it easy kind of playing 5-on-4, really. But
It does on the offense. On the defense, I think they're still phenomenal. But on the offense, if you're playing 5-on-4, you just crowd your big man and get a double team. And Baines takes up so much room in the paint. There's just no way to score in the final couple of minutes. I mean, that's one team that's doing that, but you can see that that's going to be the that's how Celtics beat them 2 years ago. It's how really Toronto hammered them in that series. It's the weak link. He has to take an outside shot to draw that defender. Even Markel Fultz, who's playing for Orlando, is taking 3 shots. I mean, he's hitting at about 28%, but it's keeping the defenders honest.
hmm,
They're not sagging off him to comical levels.
it is. It's a good way to describe it because it is comical. Like now, it's becoming less about just shoot some shots and more like it's like why isn't he shooting shots? Like it's like coming about like full circle on itself. Like you're just kind of going, just shoot it, man, just shoot the fucking thing. Like now it's kind of becoming weird.
It's kind of becoming like, what is the reason behind him not wanting to take this shot that is quite clearly so open? It's ridiculous.
Mm.
But his jump shot hasn't been working for him. He's weird, kind of getting to the hoop hooks that are just a bit too, 8 out of 10 difficulty instead of just going for the easy. The jumper are getting a bit stupid. And, in this team, he's not going to be able to facilitate the same way because Tobias plays a lot of ISO ball. They play a lot of ISO balls off picks and screens. And so there's not a lot of trail shooting. He kind of facilitates Korkmaz and, that won them a game. But you're not going to be facilitating Al Horford or Tobias Harris or Embiid for that matter. So you gotta craft your own way and get out of the paint and just hit some three balls, man. That's all you got to do. Even if you hit at 30%, doesn't matter. It's still better than turning the ball over off silly passes because it's 5-on-4 in the paint.
So is there a sneaky Celtics 5-1 sort of.
Hayward's looking good, man.
Mm,
Hayward is looking 39 points today. Massive game. He's
against the
look
Cavs though.
Yeah, but he's averaging over 20 points a game, which is kind of what they wanted. He's on
Mm.
he's a max deal. That's what you want out of your max deal players. The
Just
Celtics
shows you what a chemistry killer Kyrie can be, eh? Because
yeah, man.
I think this Celtics team, it has more. Like you take Kyrie out of that, and suddenly like you're giving other guys more options with the ball. Like Jaylen Brown's been pretty good. Tatum, I think, hit a game winner the other night as well, like a pretty big game winner in the corner. He was like, "Wow, we didn't see that from him last year very often." But yeah, I think the Celtics, it's an interesting one to follow. We're not at the overreaction stage yet. The other two were Atlanta and Charlotte, basically being in the top half at the moment. But I guess
Atlanta, yeah, Atlanta, I could see staying there. I see them probably making the playoffs over Detroit, but Charlotte would be 22 wins this season.
But they're 4-3. It's a decent start. Atlanta's a decent start. 3-3 at 500. Apart from that, nothing else really stands out. That
It's all pretty standard.
we can't hold our cards until the actual overreaction starts in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
All right, we should start cranking through some games. We had the Clippers play the Spurs. That was with Kawhi Leonard, I believe, in that game.
He was. I think he sat out the night before and they lost, and then he played this game. Obviously, not playing back-to-backs this season. Paddy had somewhat of a decent game. It was a close loss, plus 10 on the night. But yeah, that's Kawhi doing Kawhi things. I think he scored about 36 points or something ridiculous.
Yeah, he just gets buckets, man. It's weird to see how seamlessly he's kind of just fit into that team, that Clippers team. Like, it's one sort of really strange thing to see LeBron move to a team, and it takes him like 1 year to just be like, wow, there's 6 guys here I just need to get rid of, and to get rid of them down season. Whereas Kawhi moves, and you're just like transported from one city to another, and it's the same, man. It's just crazy.
Just winning games, getting 38 points a night. Yeah, he's at the moment you'd have to say he's probably the best player in the NBA. LeBron being somewhat up there, he's playing pretty well at the moment, and Doncic as well, in terms of what he's doing for the teams. You'd have to say those three are probably closest to the best in the NBA. But Paddy has a pretty big game against the Warriors, man. Just shot lights out, 31 points, plus 23 on the night. Did you watch the highlights of that game?
I saw his highlights, but he, like, against the Warriors, that team's perimeter defense is absolute just junk. So it was the perfect night for him to just come out and just be like, Paddy, just shoot the ball, son. And he generally plays pretty well against the Warriors too, because it's like a high intensity game. There's a lot of like space versus space in that Popovich versus Kerr offense. It really helps these guards who shoot. I've found, like, a lot of last year and the year before, all these guard-heavy teams would come in and you just be like, why are they just hitting it like 45% from three? This is fucking insane. And it was because it's like space versus space in those two, like in that offense. Like if you got a space-oriented team with good guards who will like to shoot the ball, and you come into Golden State, you're going to get the room to play, because Golden State aren't an overly physical team who tries to eat up your space. They'll give you space. They'll give you respect. They'll try and crowd the lanes, and that's like the perfect environment for Paddy to shine. Like that's where he gets his shots off the curl, handle a little bit, toss it around, the high-low action with LaMarcus Aldridge, DeRozan sort of eating up that space as well in the mid-range. Yeah, it was good. It was a good outing for him as well, and I think he looks a little bit, I don't know if it's slowing down per se, but he looks a little bit kind of like more measured, like, and maybe a little bit jaded from the World Cup, because he did play a lot of minutes in the World Cup.
A lot of minutes, but still coming back in, shooting the ball at a high clip. I think his probably production rate's gone up since last year. I don't think he had a 30-point game last season. Coming off in 26 minutes and 31 points, 22 minutes and 31 points. That's ridiculous production. 6 from 9 from 3. Yeah, I think that he's probably still got another couple of good seasons. He's one of those guys like those Reddit clones that just can play the game until they're 38 because all they do is just shoot.
Yeah, like Kyle Korver.
Yeah. Korver's a little bit bigger and he's probably less of a like
Yeah,
Redick.
natural guard. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably more of a small forward that plays at oversized 2 and is a bit slow. Although
DeJounte Murray, man, has come back and he's looking really good for the Spurs. I think this team's going to kind of just chug along and make it all the way sort of, they'll probably have a 56, 57% season just over sort of 500, and they're going to kind of just make their way into the playoffs again, it looks like.
they're kind of missing that space-eating center. You know what I mean? They're kind of missing that guy that can just eat space and defend the perimeter a little bit. Tyler Lyles is just a bit trash.
Lyles.
Trey Lyles, sorry. Trey Lyles. He's just a little bit trash.
That's a lot of aisles in Tyler Lyles. That's a lot of aisles. LaMarcus, like I've noticed too this season, or sort of even last season, like you just run him around a bit and he just runs out of puff and gets a bit like, and that was kind of the game plan last year, is to kind of just run LaMarcus Aldridge around. Like it looks like this year he's starting to get a little bit fitter. Like he can use his spots better. Like now that Murray's there, like he's a little bit quicker, can move a little bit. They can kind of wing for wing with Forbes, space the floor a little bit better. Doesn't have to do as much work. Like I think it was the first season we started this where we're just like, too much LaMarcus, man. Like enough with the LaMarcus. Jeez. And
they didn't really have like a DeRozan to go to. Kawhi was sitting out injured for the whole season, having a wobbly.
That's crazy to think that was 2 years ago. You just chucked a wobbly to get out of there, and no one bats an eyelid. Not a single person got upset about that. You're just like, wow, okay, fair enough.
Just is what it is, I suppose. Still won a championship.
I know, man. It's crazy.
Single-handedly, pretty much.
And then, it's crazy to think that he has such a low-key personality that he can just, yeah, sure, man. I'll just engineer my way out of there. Just cried about it for a year and just left. Whereas guys like Durant just got destroyed for moving and then destroyed again for moving, even though it's the thing everyone wanted to see as well, was him leave Golden State. Just for this,
we should probably just mention how bad Brooklyn are really, and how much Kyrie's just like killed that team.
Let's save it for the overreactions pod, eh?
All right, fair enough.
We'll go next Spurs game. We'll go team by team. What do you reckon?
Yeah, team by team.
Spurs. They had a game against
Lakers.
The Lakers, man. The Lakers just. That's what I mean about LeBron just getting everyone out of the way, and then it's like, sweet, now we've got a team here, boys. Like at the start of the season, would you have looked at that team and just gone, it's a great team, it's going to be fantastic, 50, 55 wins for sure? It's
kind of weird to see how good Dwight Howard's his ego's been taken out of the game, and how good he is just coming off the bench 15 minutes a night.
He's so tiny, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's not big anymore.
It's
and he's
so strange to see. I remember that first game I watched, and I'm looking at him going, who's that? Who's that? What the fuck? That's Dwight Howard, man. That guy he looked like a rake, dude. From the Dwight Howard that used to have like these huge shoulders that looked like he was wearing plate armor. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, mate, that's what getting off the gear does to you. But
he's still got the skills, man.
Still got the skills. Still got the rim protection. I think that's JaVale's good. They've kind of just got that 5-position zone, and then Anthony Davis and LeBron playing this weird small forward. They're probably one shooter away, and there's also some talk about the league that they're going to trade KCP for Redick, which would just make that team even more ridiculous.
That'd be good. And then Danny Green, low-key, has been a really good signing for them as well, because his perimeter defense, it's not brilliant and like not elite. Like he's known for his perimeter defense, but it's still sneaky, really good and fits the team perfectly.
Yeah. You put Redick on that team for LeBron to facilitate, and
dirty, man. And then LeBron even is just
back to being LeBron.
I like this version of LeBron. Like they took, like last year, you could feel where the team, he stuck out in the team. Like now, it's taken like the height of the team and put it around him, and he can just go, oh sweet, I can slow my game down just a touch. I don't have to lose any quality here. You know what I mean? Like they filled the roster with guys that actually complement how he can just take nights off, not nights off, but take possessions off on defense. Not have to worry about doing this and that on the court. Like basically with the younger guys, he had to do everything, and it was like he's just worn out, man. And even like that Cavs team, by the end of that Cavs team, it was just like he's just doing everything. Like what the hell? How's this sustainable, man? Jeez.
You can kind of see this Lakers team going to the conference finals. I mean,
man.
Low key, not maybe underreacting preseason. Like good, but they're going to be really good.
Yeah, let's save it. I think we'll be talking about this in a couple of weeks, but okay. And then with the Warriors obviously just disappearing now, Houston even looks a little bit shaky.
James Harden is hilarious trash. Hilarious
just,
trash.
I don't want
Just
to do it, man.
he now holds the record. I think he was 2 and 18, 2 from 18 3-point land. 18 3-point shots.
It's crazy.
It's stupid. And
Some
he
of
still
them are
scored about
so jank too, eh?
Oh, they're terrible. And he still like got to the line 30 times. It was just absurd. But did you see the ref's call on him?
Which one was that?
He traveled and the ref got really excited to call James Harden, so he started doing a mad dance about it. It's hilarious. Go watch it on.
I'll have to look at that.
Go watch it on YouTube. He does this travel dance for calling James Harden. It's so funny.
It's like, did you see that time? Just James Harden acted like a twat. Wow, man, I can't believe I found that video of him. Rare video.
Look up referee trolling James Harden.
Sick. I'll look at that after. But yeah, so we'll get back to the Spurs. We got off on a little tangent there. They also played today against the Hawks and lost to the Hawks, man.
Yeah, I thought Trae Young was going to be a bust, but I have to say I'm kind of on the Trae Young bandwagon. He is Steph Curry light, but probably a better facilitator, and he's winning games single-handedly in a team just completely full of rookies. Like they shouldn't be this good. You stick him in a team with some guys that actually had some perimeter defense, because he's not a very good defender, but he's only 6'1". So it's not going to be, an outstanding defender on oversized guards. And you see that in the Philly where his matchups if Josh Richardson just, monstered him and he had to put up some, pretty deep threes. But his facilitation he probably sees the court better than Steph, better than Simmons.
Better?
Yeah, I would say so, man. Like,
you're well and truly on the. You remember those dark days?
I thought he was a boss, man.
Those
Trae Young.
dark days of Trae Young, eh, man? We were absolutely destroying him. Nah, we weren't really. We were kind of like trying to hold people back, which was like, hey, pump the brakes on the old Trae Young business, man. But it's good to see him getting his dues. I think that that Atlanta atmosphere too is just such a nice environment. It's kind of like Phoenix, where it's just like a bunch of dudes just playing hard and playing fast, and it complements everyone. Like, it's not necessarily like they have to have a group of players that have set defined roles. You have to be here, overly coached, like overly meticulous. It's just like, let's all just hoop. And then you got like Vince Carter there as a veteran too. It's good.
Yeah, man. It's a fun team to watch. It was a good game. It was good to see them get the win against the Spurs. Paddy didn't play overly well. I think he got a few buckets.
Yeah, 5 of 6, 3 or 4 from 3. It's not too bad. 16 points plus 6. Not bad.
Not bad.
But to lose against the Hawks is a bit. Don't know about that.
Yeah, that's what the Spurs team just like. Oh, they're going to put up 140 against the Mavs, but then lose to the Hornets. Like, why?
Yeah,
why?
Rudy Gay 3 of 10, Bellinelli 2 of 10, Dejounte Murray 1 of 7, LaMarcus Aldridge 6 of 14. So, and then DeRozan had a pretty good night, 22 points, 10 of 16. But it always feels like so unexplosive. You know what I mean? You look at these box scores and you're just like, wow, the Spurs played well. They were like really efficient. You know what I mean? Like, no one's there like stands out at you. Just like, oh my God, he had 36 points on a crazy amount of shooting. You know what I mean? It's always just really evenly passed around.
But that's a system. That's the Celtics system, the Spurs system, the Warriors. Oh, the Warriors are probably the only system that kind of bucks that trend, because it's just who's going to go off tonight, really. And probably the other system team is probably Miami, and that's kind of working this year as well. But that's for another day when one of the Aussies play. We should move on to the Cavs. But Delhi had a bit of an injury this round, this week, and didn't play 2 of the games. He played today and had some minutes and didn't play too bad and lost. But the Cavs, unfortunately, just probably like
they're like good bad team, bad good team.
Yeah.
Good bad team. I don't know. They're just
good bad team. They're kind of fun to watch. Like, they're just young guards just doing some shit, and Kevin Love looks pretty good. And when Tristan Thompson hits a 3, you laugh, and it's a nostalgic team, but without any really substance to challenge anyone. It's kind of like, the big team's just going to get their 4 wins in the East, and the Lakers will just mung them for 2 games, and like they're just there as a bit of fodder.
It doesn't feel like the Phoenix and the Atlanta Hawks where the system breeds, everyone just plays well. Like the Cavs feel like they got Kevin Love, and we've got to get Kevin Love his touches, man. And we've got to get Colin Sexton, like make sure he develops. And then, Tristan Thompson, I've always felt like he's like a backup guy, like the ultimate backup guy. But then you're like, oh, here's the keys, man. He's just like, no, but I'm a backup guy, man. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like he would be like a Kylo Quinn, but he's actually playing, 35 minutes a night in Cleveland. Yeah, they kind of went all in on Colin Sexton, and they picked up Darius Garland, and they're kind of the same player.
Yeah.
Both 6'2", both 6'1", 6'2" point guards. And, if they don't shoot well that night, well, then they get blown out. And if they do shoot well, then it's going to be a close game. But they just don't have the defense, I think, to take it home.
I don't think they have the offense really as well. Like Kevin Love was such a good off guy in that LeBron era, almost to the point where it was kind of underappreciated as a scorer. Yet the way they were using him to score the ball, like it fit the way he played. So it's just kind of a weird thing. And then Chetty Osman, obviously, last year he had a real breakout, sort of 4 months at the start of the season. Now he's kind of just fallen off a cliff a little bit, playing 32 minutes.
This is like year 6 for Chetty Osman. I thought he was drafted 2 years ago. I think he was drafted in 2013. So it's just like...
Really? I think you're going to he's going to always be a guy where he'll be 32 and you'll just be like, oh man, Chetty Osman, 2 years into his career, he's going to be he's signing a rookie max extension soon.
I think he's 2014 or 2013 draft. I was looking over it. It was like, Chetty Osman, 2014. What the hell is going on here?
2015, round 2, 31 for the Minnesota. That's still 4 years ago. So
yeah, it's just kind of like, I suppose he was just in the LeBron era where he wasn't getting minutes, and that was pretty much it.
Well, he was drafted by Minnesota, so he must have came over somewhere.
Been in the trade block.
2017 he came over there. So, but the Cavs, man, I don't know. It's just, I don't know, dude.
Just making up the numbers. Let's move on to Detroit, because I think Detroit's an interesting topic to talk about. Watching a lot of their games, Drummond just putting up ridiculous numbers and losing every night. Why? And then Derrick Rose playing really well, scoring the ball, obviously on minutes restrictions. Thon doing absolutely nothing most nights. 12 minutes of 0-0-0, maybe a rebound. Just completely not in the system at all. Just there as like, oh, here's a 7-for-1 guy we're going to throw at people. And you defend, and then just Derrick Rose will do all the scoring. I don't know if Dwayne Casey's getting the most out of this team. On paper, there's some good players on this team, but yet it's not working.
We said a lot about Thorne on the last episode, and I just feel like I don't want to say it, but I feel like we're going to be just going back to the same stuff all season. It's just like, he got his 9 minutes and he didn't do much. Like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, but
stop it.
I still don't see how he fits this team. Like, and then Blake Griffin's going to come back, and you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work. Like, but then I kind of look on that other side. Like, what is he going to fit? I don't know what he is actually going to fit. Like, what team is he going to fit?
I don't know what his position is. He's not really what does he play?
I don't know, man. It's just after.
He's not really a 5. He's not really a 4. Do you play him at small forward and just have a really ridiculously tall small forward that can maybe shoot a 3-ball? Like what?
But I don't think he doesn't defensively. He's not stout enough and can't really handle the ball.
Yeah,
so I don't know, man. Like, and then it feels like unless you can absolutely just camp him somewhere to block shots, he's not laterally quick enough or something to block, to get blocks really anymore. Like we saw it in the Celtics series, but now it's kind of like
I think I'm not seeing a lot of blocks. I'm seeing him staying in front of defenders a lot more because I've been watching a lot of the Detroit games. You see on the rotations, like he comes away when he puts his 10 minutes on the floor. Detroit might have lost by 20, but he's -2, -1, 0 + 2. When he comes on the floor, they're not getting blown out, but he's not really just in the offense at all. Defensively, I think he's actually playing quite well, and he's a deterrent for guys driving to the basket because he is that threat of it's almost like guys just as soon as Thon switches onto them, the ball exits and it's scored elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I think he's a deterrent, but his offensive game has just fallen off a cliff, and there's nothing really happening there at all.
It's a worry, man, because I think he's really talented, but would a team like if you went to a team where basically they just went, you're gonna get 6 or 7 touches for your time on the court, and you're gonna have to kind of initiate some offense here. No team's really gonna do that, but would we see a better player? I'm not 100% sure there.
I just think he's got to take out a leaf out of Baynes' book, is that on the offense, get to the top of the key and just drill that three. That's all you need to do. Don't try and play in the paint. Don't try and put the ball on the floor. Be at the top of the key or in the corner, slink back to the corner and hit the three. Hit it at a 35, 40% clip. That's all you need to do if you're coming off as a 10, 15 minutes bench player. Be smart on the defense. And in this modern NBA, he's not a guy that's going to put the ball on the floor and back down and score around the rim. He's a guy that needs to slink out, get to the three-point line, and drain it at 35, 40%, which we're not even seeing. So it's kind of like until you get that part of your game, don't even bother. And I think that's what's happening.
And they're not playing any kind of pick and roll really with him.
No, not at all.
So he wasn't really that effective playing pick and roll in the Bucks system, Bucks system. And then it was when they moved to that Coach Bud spread it and just give the ball to Giannis. That's where, there wasn't enough sort of carryover points for him to go, hang on, you can use this guy as a pick and roll threat. So I'm not sure, if this team is a team that's really going to be able to use him like that at all.
Yeah.
It's just sucks because I don't know if there's another team in the league where you could just go, man, if you put him on the Suns, I can't even look at a team and just go, man, if you put him on that team and got him doing that, that'd be perfect for him.
Yeah, you can kind of fit everyone in a position. Like you get Brokoff straight onto the Bucks. That's all you do is put him on the Bucks and just get Giannis to kick it to him. Perfect Bucks fit. Korver retires next year. Brokoff goes there. Same player, right? Patty's pretty good where he is. Ben Simmons obviously is good where he is. Delhi is perfect where he is. It's kind of the only role Delhi can actually play. And then you look at Thon, you're just like, he doesn't fit where he is. I don't see where he can go. What do you do? Does he take maybe, does he take a step back and play in Europe and start playing some FIBA ball? Maybe he suits the FIBA game better because he can camp in the lane and just be that complete deterrent. Like you don't need to be a big body in FIBA to be a successful player. Whereas in the NBA, you kind of need to be horizontally spaced quite well in order to drive teams away from the bucket. Whereas I think that a lot of the younger guys will just switch on, the smaller guys will switch on him and score on him a lot easier.
Does it feel like the NBA is getting a lot better though? Like they're getting a lot craftier at the rim too. I've noticed over the last few years, the trend is starting to be players are getting smarter where they'll just dime someone up at the rim because it's an easy dump off or it's an easy sort of little pass under the bucket or even a bounce pass. Or guys will kind of baseline run under the bucket. Somebody will lose them, and then they're getting crafty enough to kind of put the ball in these tiny little spaces where it's just through to someone and they can just dunk because they're so lengthy. So I wonder if the NBA is going to go sort of up, athletic with the savvy, and then come back down and be all round again. But it ebbs and flows. Like you look at Luka last year. Luka was kind of the same. Crafty yet didn't have the physicality, and then this season you can kind of see he's taken another step physically, and that's it's helping his game a lot. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm worried about Thon. I want him to fit at least on a team at the very least. You know what I mean?
Maybe he fits a facilitative point guard, someone that can run a bit of pick and roll offense, and he can get to the hoop and dunk. But when he's on the court with Derek D Rose, it's just kind of like, here comes ISO ball for 12 minutes, and Thon's not really needed. So who knows? I don't know what that is, but Dwayne Casey's got to fix something because they're in the L's. Although they did get a win here.
Yeah, they did beat the Nets.
Yeah, they beat the Nets. Well, Kyrie is trash, so they were. We can move on to the Mavs, I think, because we've got a Brokoff sighting in the Cavs. He was on the court for 2 minutes and hit a three.
That was nice. Woo! And he got a steal, I think, as well, or a block or a steal or something.
I think a steal. An assist.
Whoa.
2 minutes, man. Efficient. This was actually a pretty good game. I watched the Mavs-Cavs game. It was a fun game to watch, man. They both shot at a ridiculous clip, from three ball. And it was pretty much tit for tat until the fourth quarter, where I think just Luka took over and Porzingis and Seth Curry played pretty well in this game as well. But
Yeah, Seth Curry's been pretty good, and I've actually been really impressed with how Porzingis isn't trying to take over. Like he's
No,
not trying to get in the way and just be like, "Hey, give me touch, post touch, post touch." Like he'll like get out of the way. In the Lakers game that they lost, like he was getting out of the way, and I was like, this could work. Like if he stays healthy, he knows how to get out of. Like last year, Powell was kind of getting in Luka's way a little bit, and then Brunson would get in his way a little bit. Like it looks like this team is another year of right, he's gonna we know he's gonna do this. Like we'll just spread the floor instead of like crowd the lane. Like Powell was a little bit like that. That late man, did you see the end of that Lakers game?
no, I did not.
They ran this set and LeBron comes through and there was like everyone switching and rotating and Maxi Kleber comes over to kind of contest LeBron's shot at the rim. Like they were down 3 to go to overtime, and then Seth Curry tries to switch out into the corner and Dwight Howard just straight up grabs him, holds him. He can't contest the shot. And it's just an offensive foul. And we go to overtime, and then they had all the momentum. And Luka copped a couple of hits on the head. Like he copped one elbow to the head from his own player, and then he copped another knock to the face. And but like I was just looking at these things, and like we do a lot of like throwing flags and like looking at the replay and let's confer, and then the one time where you watch a game where it's like, you just straight up grabbed a dude and that should just be an offensive foul, thanks, and then the game's over. We don't go to the monitor, nobody gets upset, nobody complains. We're just like, cool, like you just totally cost them a win. Basically should have won. Like, okay.
Yeah, they did. I think the refs went back and actually said, that was a bad call, and it should have been called.
But that was a good game, man. The Lakers played really well in that game, and the Dallas looked legit in that game. Like it wasn't until the end where Luka got hurt. You kind of could feel, all right, the Mavs don't really have enough weapons on this team to beat a team like the Lakers when the Lakers are rolling. Like it's one thing to catch the Lakers, on an off night. But when the Lakers are really rolling, like they put it together in this stretch, it's just like, oof, they're a hard team to beat. You're gonna have to be playing really well to beat them. Anyway, yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, I don't think you could beat them in 6 games. I don't think the Mavs could beat them in 6 games.
No.
Or 7-game series, just don't happen. We'll move on to the Jazz, and you've obviously been following the Jazz, and not a fan.
I'm not liking it, man. It just it's all right, but I just don't understand it. Like I understood what was happening last year, but this year, like there's a lot of like Bogdanovic. Is it Bojan Bogdanovic holding the ball? Like he's holding the ball a lot, man.
Yeah, it's Conley not having the greatest start as well,
and he's got to integrate too. And Rudy Gobert just looks, man, like sometimes when he's on the court, you're just like, gets in the way a little bit, holding the ball up high, and you're just like, what are you doing, Rudy? Just give someone else the ball, man. Like, stop. Like, what are you doing?
Shoot the ball.
He's not going to shoot it. He's not going to shoot it. And everyone's just like, hey, Rudy's holding the ball. Like, how funny is this? And you're just like, fuck. And then Donovan Mitchell, I don't know. Like, you can see the talent in him. You can see how good he is. It still has kind of this, like, lingering stench of Westbrook.
Yeah, he's getting better with his shot selection, though.
But you can't, and then Ed Davis actually broke his foot, fractured foot, so he's out for a while. And that's massive too, because he's kind of their only other sort of shot blocking big. They had a young rookie, I think, out there today against
from the G League. They've called him up on a 2-way. Yeah,
against the Clippers. I can't remember what his name. I just watched the game right before we started this, and I cannot remember his name. Bradley, Tony Bradley, is it? Is that a rookie?
Tony Bradley? Yeah,
Tony Bradley, yeah.
Okay.
So not a rookie, but like third year.
Third year.
It was like
deep backup.
A young guy there, yeah. A young guy's there, cool. And you're like, it's just, man, you got no shot block. And then even when Rudy's on the floor, like you kind of just scramble him around. And then Kawhi in this game, you're just like, man, Kawhi's losing the ball, and Kawhi just raises up and hits it, and you're like, what do you do? What do you do? I don't understand.
He hits ridiculous shots, man. Some of those shots are just terrible shot selections, but his arms are so long and his hands are so big. He just shoots over everyone and no one can block him. And he ripped Bogdanovic
Bogdanovic,
is,
yeah.
and just oh yeah, I'm just gonna rip him because he's slow, and then I'll just take it to the hoop and
And then there was another one
so
where Bogdanovic kind of scored this creaky bucket on him too. And you're like, most guys would just be like, "Wah!" And Bogdanovic was kind of just like, yeah, but I know I'm just going to get munched next time down anyway, so I'm not going to celebrate type of thing. It's funny.
this clip seems scary if when PG comes back.
PG.
PG 13.
Yeah. I still don't know how Lou Williams is getting so many free throws, but it just still blows my mind how he gets free throws.
Just
But
sells it. It's all selling it, man. He flings his neck back every chance he gets.
sometimes he just doesn't, though. Sometimes you watch the replay and you're just like, how did the ref even see that might have been a foul? Like, I don't. It's just kind of weird. These ones where he goes sideways and just kind of like sideways jump shot, and you're like, where was even like? Sometimes you can see like, oh, it looks like a foul. Oh yeah, cool. That looks like a foul. He thought it was a foul. What can you do? He called it. But some of them where you just like, it didn't even look like a foul. Like, what's this random whistle? It's like NBL whistles, man. Sometimes you see those and you're just like, what?
Whistles. Yeah, they're just terrible.
Yeah,
Like,
should we round it out with the Philly 76ers? Obviously,
Yeah.
their run came to an end with a loss to the Suns. A little bit of Aussie on Aussie crime. Ben Simmons
Definitely.
and Bainesy.
Definitely Aussie crime, man. Baynes monstered everyone this game. He was an absolute behemoth. 3 from 5 from 3, 15, 7, 6, plus 19 on the night, man. What an absolute behemoth. Simmons got 7 steals, but other than that, just completely dead shit useless.
Yeah?
I just...
Come on, give me your Ben Simmons.
Oh, he just needs to shoot the ball. It's getting difficult to watch how comical people sag back off him into the key.
I kind of got that same feeling from Draymond the last couple of years where guys would just sag off him and you're just like, just got to shoot it, I guess. And then he'd shoot it and you'd just be like, yeah, it was 1 from 7, I guess. Like,
yeah, it's just Simmons is better than that. Like he can hit the 3 ball. We've seen it in practice. It's just shoot 2 a game. Just please 1 a game. Just everyone just like shoot the fucking ball.
And then even he doesn't even have like a go-to jumper. You know what I mean? Like if he had just a 1 dribble jumper where you're just like, man, all you do on training day is you get someone with one of them pads, another guy with one of them cone things, and you just go pass the ball, take it, 1 dribble jumper. Like pass the ball, take it, 1 dribble jumper. Like that's all he needs to do is like when he gets a pass, is hesitate, offer 1 dribble, shoot a jumper. Like.
Yeah.
But it's becoming kind of like reverse meme now where you're just looking at it, just going, what? Like, just shoot it. Like, I don't. Like, you.
Look, other than that, we haven't seen much of Bolden, unfortunately. He's very, very deep rotation this year. He just got too many good plays, man. Al Horford is kind of the best low-key pickup, I think, of the offseason. Just pick up a guy that can play 4-5 with 2 other centers that are pretty good, and Tobias Harris, and you got a good team. I don't know if this team's going to win a championship. They're just short 1 shooter.
So Embiid's not back. Embiid's back the next game, right?
Yeah, he's back tomorrow against
Jazz.
Who are they're playing the Jazz tomorrow. Aussie and Aussie Prime.
Yes, I believe they are.
That'll be an interesting matchup. Gobert versus Embiid. But then just
Embiid's
Horford
going to destroy Gobert, man.
Destroy him, yeah. It'd just be interesting to see because Mike Conley has the habit of getting hot against the Sixers out of nowhere. So it'll be interesting to see how this game unfolds tomorrow. But the Sixers could munch them. The Sixers have probably got one of the hardest starts to the year.
Yeah,
like they've played some big games already, and then they go back to like a 10-game run of the Cavs, the Hornets, the Knicks, and just the bong water of the NBA.
The Warriors. What, they're playing like 16 games against the Warriors.
Eric Pascal, man, just getting it done.
Yeah, man. Pascal.
No,
Pascal. They were all calling him Pascal, but I swear it was Pascal at the start of the season.
Pascal. Yeah. It's Pascal. It's not Pascal. Pasch. Pasch.
When he knocks it down, everyone's going to say Pascal's clinkers.
That's Aussie, mate. That's not American.
But yeah, man, like this Philly team, I think they're going to be really good, but I don't know. They got to, again, it's like the Bucks where I want to see this team jump over the hurdle. Like the wall's there. Like I want to see you. Like a guy standing there just being, I can jump over that wall. I'm jumping over the wall right now. Okay, let's see you do it. No, not gonna do it. You know, you're just like, no, I want to see you jump. I'm not gonna believe you can jump over the wall until you jump over the wall. It's kind of like the Bucks. I feel the same way about them, where it's just like, yeah, the Bucks are great, but until you get like through that fire, you know what I mean? Like you're like you don't have that.
It just seems like, I mean, Portland shot 56. Well, this is probably good. Portland
Yeah,
shot
that was a good game too.
56% from beyond the arc, and Philly ended up winning, coming back from a 22-point deficit. Shows some heart, but still, it's kind of like it's Portland. They didn't have any bigs. How the hell did they get to 22 points ahead?
So Nurkic, and then Zach Collins is out for a while with a shoulder injury.
4 months.
And who's their other center?
Nurkic. No, who's their other center?
It's in my mind. I can't think of who it was. It's late, man. It's 10 o'clock at night.
It's 10 o'clock at night. But yeah, that was a pretty good game. Simmons played fairly well in that game, but I would like to see them blow a few of the bigger teams out, because the Bucks just blew teams out all year. I'd like to see
it's not been the best, the Bucks.
Yeah, lost to the. So I mean, they blew Celtics out first game, but yeah, it has been a little bit of a weird start to the year. But mate, it's such a long season, so long to go. Let's wrap this up before we cark it for the evening.
I know, I'm just yawning. It's not my time to shine. Midday is my time to shine.
That's it,
what have we got coming up over the next week? We'll come back probably Sunday and do some more games.
We'll come back Sunday.
A few more little things. There's plenty of big sort of games going on. I think about 15 games in, we'll do the overreaction pod.
Yeah, definitely. And then we'll come back in, obviously halfway through the season and do all the half-season wrap-ups of where the teams are, give our predictions for the end of the season and so forth. But remember, you can like, share, and subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook. You can find our podcast everywhere on podcasting app, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Podcast Addict. Like, share, and subscribe. Rate us if you want to.
Yes, on iTunes, 5-star rating to help us get us out there. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, and make sure you join us next time on Aussies Taking Over the NBA, and we will see you Sunday.
Peace out.
Take it easy, peeps.